So in this video, I'm going to be talking to you about how to deal with imposter syndrome and how do you overcome imposter syndrome. So what is imposter syndrome? This is a feeling of I don't deserve this opportunity. You know, when I came to Dubai for the first time, I saw these supercars and these penthouses and these beautiful women, and for a long time the thought in my mind, it was almost like a ongoing thought at the back of my mind, was that I do not deserve any of this. I do not deserve this car, I do not deserve this girl, I do not deserve to be around this person, I do not deserve to sit on this chair, I don't deserve to be in that position, I don't deserve to speak or express my opinion right now. I mean, I don't deserve. And this was something that I suffered for at least 20 to 25 years, and only recently I was able to overcome this. And this has allowed me to be in a position where I founded my own company in UAE, and I managed to bring together some of the most high-profile executives in the whole country, including multi-billion-dollar company CEOs and top lawyers that have advised on a $13 billion transaction. And I've done over 400 presentations with banks that have financed, with bankers that have financed $350 million deals. And I myself have negotiated a $3.5 million, a $10 million, a $25 million, $120 million, and $140 million negotiation. So I've been involved in these types of transactions. I'm 29 years old, and I don't have a college degree. So naturally, when I entered into the business arena, I felt that I did not deserve to be there. When I was doing the presentation to secure financing for $10 million with a bank, the bank had said yes. The bank had said we would finance 50 to 70% of the transaction. They had given a term sheet saying that they would finance this, and we decided not to go with that transaction. But I'm just giving you an example that they had said yes, but in my mind I did not believe it. And when I shared it with one of my business partners at that time, he said, "Prithvi, you just secured a term sheet, but you don't believe it, that you've done it." I said, "Yes, I don't believe it, that I did this." And this happened also when I got into the business partnership with a CEO, with the ex-CEO of a $3.5 billion company. After he said yes, I went back home and I kept saying this to myself, that he was going to change his mind. He's going to change his mind. He's going to change his mind. And for a long time, I felt like I didn't deserve it. So let's look deep into this, where this comes from and how to overcome it, and the strategies that I have discovered that helps completely eradicate this. So this happens because we go into the school system and the teachers tend to diminish your value. They have this whole structure of grading and labeling your work in numbers and in grades, and they make you believe that these grades and these numbers define you. How your performance in academics will determine how successful you are going to be in life. How well you read these 15 books that they give you, that has nothing to do with success, nothing to do with business, nothing to do with money. How, if you really read this well and able to rewrite this, that ability is rewarded in school, but that ability has nothing to do with success. But they keep saying, the teachers at a very young age to children, that if you don't study this, you will become a shoemaker or a barber or this or that, right? We all have heard those stories. They used to say, if you don't study, you will become a shoemaker. Maybe I'll start a billion-dollar shoe company in the future, I don't know. But they used to say something like this, that you're going to sit on the street and do shoe polish for people. And these types of sort of opinions and inflictions on children at that age creates a lack of self-esteem and self-confidence and insecurity. And the child starts to, and especially myself, I started to actually believe that the grades, how I performed in school, had something to do with what type of life I am going to have. And even though I grew up and I knew that that's not the case, somewhere deep down, deep inside me, I still had those belief systems. So why do they say these things? It's very simple. The schools were created so that kids can be trained to become employees when they grow up and work in companies and make the rich richer. So if you are working in a company, you're making someone else rich. Not only you're making someone else rich, but your income is being taxed very heavily. So you're making the government also rich. And in all of this process, your time is being exploited. Okay? And this, so a child, it's going to be very difficult for a child that is full of life, to put him through something like this. This is the reason you go through a training of 12 to 15 years where they put so much pressure on you and form your mind in such a way that your self-esteem is destroyed and your self-confidence is destroyed and your sense of self, how valuable you think you are, is completely diminished. So they say these things to you, they criticize you, they check your homework, they check your exams, and they put labels on you. You're a naughty boy, or you have a poor handwriting, you have poor communication skills, you are this, you are that, you're that, you're that, you're that. And for 10 years, you keep hearing this information, and they get you at a very young age. They get you when you're innocent, they get you when you don't have a lot of understanding how the world works, and they say these things to you, and they eventually become belief systems. And we carry this whole web of belief systems way into our adult life. And the moment your value in your own eyes is reduced, you can work for a salary, for a mediocre job, for a mediocre salary, because at this point you do not have a high opinion of yourself. And it is a very strategic thing. It's not a coincidence. If it was a coincidence, then why is it that so many masses of people feel like that they don't deserve to be in a good position? They don't deserve nice things. They don't deserve a Ferrari. At a conscious level, yes, you can say, oh, I deserve it. But when you see a Ferrari, there is suddenly a trigger that happens, and you may say to yourself, I don't deserve this. This is not for me. This is for rich people. And these types of beliefs are actually programmed so that you don't consider much about yourself. Your mind is clogged with fear and anxiety, and you do not actually pursue the opportunities you want to pursue, and your whole body is frozen, your communication is frozen, and you're completely stuck. And this is where the exploitation begins. This is where they start telling you, you need to get a secure job, you need to work for a salary, you need to pay most of the taxes from your salary, and live a basic life. If you have a basic mediocre life, that's a good life, that's a successful life. Or you have everything you need, why do you need more, right? So these types of beliefs are programmed so that you can give your time for a very cheap price. You will only give your time for a very cheap price when you don't have subconsciously a very high opinion of yourself. And they strategically have made you believe this about yourself through grading system, through marks, when you get marks in exams, grades, and calling you names and labels, and this creates a low self-esteem. And then once the value of the person is diminished, that person can be controlled and made into a corporate slave. So that's in essence how the imposter syndrome is created. It's a byproduct of the school system, right? We want big words on our CV, and our value, we think, is based on our CV. Our value has nothing to do with the CV. And for a long time, I believed this, that my value is based on my qualifications and my work experience. I will tell you what your value is really based on. Your value is based on what you can do for someone else. Your value is decided by the marketplace. Your value is decided by the person in front of you. What do they need? What do they desire? And can you deliver it or not? Whether you have the degree, qualification, or experience, it doesn't matter. Can you solve that person's problem? If you can solve the person's problem, they will value you, and they will value the services you offer in that context. The same value in a different market can be valued even more highly by someone else. And in a different market, it may not be valued at all. So it really, for example, if you're a French teacher, someone who wants to learn French, is going to value that advice. But if you go into another market and someone is doing a business, in France and want to do $10 million deals, and that person wants to learn French very fast, and you can deliver that very fast, then that person is going to pay you much more. So really the value is determined by the marketplace, and another person who doesn't want to learn French will not pay you anything. So it has less to do with the CV, and it has more to do with what you can do for someone else that they need and that they value. If you position yourself with services, products, and objects and things that other people value, and you take control of those things, your value will be determined by that. So it's really a question of positioning more than CVs. But the imposter syndrome, this is what it causes. So how do you resolve this? You got to put yourself in positions of discomfort. You got to go out of your way to put yourself into situations that you think you may not deserve. Taking a leadership role in your company, giving a presentation even though you don't feel like it, asking that girl out even if you don't feel like it, or even if you feel like you don't deserve, and just keep getting exposure. I took the meeting with the former CEO of a $3.5 billion company, even though I did not believe he would say yes, but I still did it. I did not think the man that I met who was worth 500 million pounds, I did not think that person would invite me to his home, but he did. And there were times when I met very beautiful women that I did not think that they would say yes to going out with me, but they did. And when I had those reference experiences, those little successes, my opinion of myself changed. And that's when the transformation happens. So the real solution is you got to expose yourself to positions which are bigger than you, that demand you to expand your comfort zone. And you got to do this very, very fast. You cannot do this slowly, incrementally. You got to do it dramatically. And you will feel like literally puking in these situations, because that imposter syndrome is going to get triggered. And it's going to make you feel like you should not be there, and this is not the place for you. You should not speak. You should not communicate. But all of that's bullshit. It's just a programming that we received when we were children, and it has nothing to do with reality and what you deserve and what you don't deserve. So with that, if you like the video, hit that subscribe button. It helps the channel, and I'll talk to you soon.